laundry, save some money, keep your clothes cleaner and brighter and fresher. That's our today's special. Okay, here we go. How about light where you need it, but also when you need it? 120 ultra bright LED lights, also motion activated, also three-way directional. Now you can turn those exactly where you need it. You can mount it up. You can put it in the stake in the ground, which you're getting included. This is ultra bright. Listen, sometimes we don't need the light on all the time. We just need it when we arrive or when someone arrives who shouldn't be there, or we're letting the dogs out, or late at night. You can put it up on a post, or that stake, you're getting that included as well. $21.95 from one of our legacy brands here at HSN. It's who we turn to when it comes to lighting. It's from Bell+Howell, the Bionic Solar Deluxe Trio Spotlight with motion detection. And our outdoor expert from Bell+Howell, Lou Caputo, is joining us here this evening. Lou, good to see you.
Hey, Ty, good morning.
Yes, it is. That's right. That's right. Good morrow, sir.
Good morrow.
Yes, hello, hello. This thing, directional, motion, everything.
This is an amazing light.
And it covers a lot of ground.
It does. Well, I like to say it's like getting 3 lights in one, okay? Yeah. Because when you look at this, it's unusual for a solar light like this. Number one, to be this bright, 500 lumens. Number two, to have this many LEDs, 120 total, 40 in each panel. But number three, to be able to do this with all 3 panels, position them where you want them to go. Like literally the ones on the sides will almost go all the way around the back, which is amazing. So if you were to put this on the corner of your house, Ty, you're gonna have light in 3 different directions and straight down. And that's always a pet peeve of mine, is that if you put a solar light or any kind of spotlight above a door, you have a choice. It can either go out or it can go down. You can't do both. This one can. You can have a light go straight down. You can have the lights go to the sides, whatever you want to do. So that's just one of the great features. Now watch this. As soon as those lights go down, here's what's going to happen. Boom. The light came on just like that. So these are motion sensor lights, okay? So the minute it senses motion, it's going to turn on. Now, it's not just any motion sensor light, though. They use what's known as passive infrared technology, okay? Fancy way of saying that it knows the difference between a tree and a person. Okay. Oh. Well, because what it does is it measures the temperature of the background, and then anything that's a different temperature that moves in front of it between, it will pick that up. So if it's the hood of a car that's hot, if it's an animal, if it's a person, it's going to turn that on. You know what's not going to set it off? The trees blowing, your bushes, your umbrella. Nothing like that's going to turn these on. Now notice that right now I'm standing here in the dark, but I can take this light and bend it. And look, now you can see my shirt. And that's virtually going completely backwards. Now we can see Ty as well, because Ty's over here standing next to me, and he's lit. And if I take that panel and move it away from Ty, no Ty, lots of Ty. No Ty, lots of Ty.
That's how they do those tricks. I mean, it really, look how much light you're getting out of that.
I'll put this one between us, and we're both lit. And the light's not actually between us, like fully. In fact, let me pull this one down and watch this. I can turn it sideways like that. Now, one of the really neat things about this light is the ways you can mount it, all right? We give you the hardware to mount it on your house, on a wall, on a post, a soffit, a tree, anything like that. But then you also get stakes you can mount it in the ground. If you don't want to put it up and you want to mount it differently like that, maybe in your bushes or something, you can do that with this as well. But the best part? Solar.
Solar. You're not running wires. You're not trying to hang it somewhere where there's already a pre-fixture there where you're getting electricity. Anywhere you need it. That's why I say where you need it, when you need it, right?
Well, and without an electrician too. And that's the thing about this here. And I'm going to show you something real quick. So I know there are people out there that are like, okay, Lou, I've got other options. I've tried other lights. Like, for instance, a lot of folks get a motion sensor light that looks like this guy. But, you know, we got this on the end here. So there better be a power source within about 3 feet of that light. Otherwise, this one's not going to work for you. And plus, this is one of those lights where that light's going to go only in the direction you've got it aimed. Whereas with this one, I can go 3 different directions. Here's one that works off of batteries. And this is actually a really good light, but here's the problem. It's got batteries in it. I got to remember to change the batteries. I couldn't tell you what I had for lunch today, okay? I'm not going to remember to change the batteries today.
No,
it's not going to happen.
All of a sudden, when you need the light, it's not there. And not to mention the price of those batteries, which you got to, replace every 6 months or so. The solar panel on this thing.
One and done.
Look at the size of that.
And here's the thing, too. You're like, okay, Lou, well, the side of the house I want to put this on. It doesn't really get light all day. Okay, don't worry about it. Watch. This panel will bend clear backwards. So even if you had this mounted on a stake, you would absolutely have no problem at all. And again, look at that, bam. It sensed people walking behind the cameras, and right away it came on. And remember, I can aim this bottom panel straight down. So now the table in front of me is lit, but imagine it was above a doorway, above a garage, above someplace where you want to be able to see what's right below it. You can do that with this one. And then you've got the luxury of having these side panels that you can move, as I'm doing here, and point them in completely different directions wherever you want. And this is a crazy bright light, Ty. Like, so bright. I've got one mounted on the soffit of my house.
Yeah.
And at night, sometimes I'll be in bed, and something will trigger it. An animal of some sort or something outside triggers it, and that light comes on, Ty, and I sit up and I think to myself, what light through yonder window breaks?
Wow, it is the east and Juliet is the sun. Well played, Lou Caputo. It is bright. It is like the sun.
It is.
Look at this light here. Again, if you want to stake it, you are getting that stake to put in the ground, getting that included. Notice there's no wires here. That's the other thing. I know it says it right there in your panel there. It says solar, but I want to point out, you're not running any wires. You're not having to plug it into any electricity there. You don't even have to think about it. And because it's, Lou, can I get a little light there? Thanks, Lou. Because you can turn those panels, it really covers a lot of ground. I know normally when we talk about lights, we're like, hey, you may need 2 or 3 of these lights, buy these in a bundle. For most of us, maybe it's the side of the house that's going to cover the side. The back of the house is going to cover the back. If you want to cover both, maybe you're picking up 2 today, but you're going to cover a lot of ground.
And more than you could do with a standard spotlight. Most spotlights, it's like, it's going this way and that's it. That's what it's going to do. With this light, I can bend it around the sides. I can have it go straight down, as I mentioned. The other thing, too, is that this has a ball joint on the back of it. I heard you guys talking about that with the cup holder a little while ago. And you could see how that just makes this infinitely positionable where I can put this. But then, this just fits right on the stake like that. So once I've got that on the stake, Ty, I've got even more options how I want to position it. Or, as I mentioned earlier, if you look at the back of this, it actually has mounting holes in there, so you can attach this to a fence post or a wall or a tree even. I actually have one on a tree on my property because it's just one of these places where there's no light, we don't have street lights, and I'm not going to run a wire all the way out there. And I'm too cheap to hire an electrician. So I go the solar route, and this thing works tremendously well.
I mean, at this birthday price, $21.95. Your flexible payment is $7.32. We're covering the shipping and handling here tonight. Remember, you have 30 days to try everything out here at HSN. So you're going to get it home, mount it, put it up for a whole month. See how it doesn't give you peace of mind knowing you've got light out there. If something, or you're letting the dogs out, or you're walking out to the shed, to the garage, whatever it is, and then it being directional, having a solar panel. Right now, you're putting down $7.32 to get this light home right now. Just having light, Lou, not only sometimes can it be a detractor, which is great, but also it gives me peace of mind.
No, it does.
Something is out there.
It's safety and security. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, the safety part is people aren't going to be tripping over things because that light's going to come on. They're going to be able to see the walkway, the stairs, all the things that are out there. But the security part is that when this light comes on, things tend to scurry. And I'm talking about animals and people both. You know, if somebody's walking up to your house, up your driveway, on your property, that light's going to come on. They don't know, was it a motion light or did somebody flip a switch?
Yes,
you know, and it stays on, by the way. This light will stay on until the motion stops. So, you know, it's 30 seconds or until the motion stops. So if they're out there, somebody's walking around, that's the other nice thing too. Like, you know, if you have no lights in your backyard and you're like, gosh, I wish I had a light back there, not just for safety and security, but because, you know, maybe you want to go outside and do something on the lawn at night. You want to, you know, barbecue, you want to do whatever, that light's going to stay on as long as it senses that motion. Now, the other thing I like about these, though, as I mentioned it earlier, is it uses that passive infrared sensor inside of it. So somebody who's watching your house, if the trees are moving and the wind's blowing and that sort of thing, you know, most of your motion lights are going to come on and off and on and off and all night. This isn't going to do it until something that's warm, that's warmer than the background, gets in front of it. And that's going to be your people, your pets, you know, animals, cars, you know, anything like that. So that's what's going to be, I think, one of the cool things about it is they're going to think there's nothing there until
right,
boom,
until
it's too late then.
Or if, you know, when it comes winter time and